Well, another day and another day of Republican bureaucrats ramping up the crazy. And so I want to just take a few minutes and talk about that here. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about and revisit the last video, because apparently I've always talked about how I have the Trinity, the holy Trinity of third rail topics to discuss. And it shows by the number of views that my channel gets. And that's what we talk about: anarchy, abortion, veganism. And these are topics people just hate. And I will say that nothing brings out the hate. Nothing brings the crazies out like veganism, which I haven't discussed in a while, but I do plan on discussing veganism again really soon. So if you're going to unsub because you don't want to hear that, do us all a favor, just do it quietly. All right, so let's get to this here. And I have actually a new something new on the channel. So if you go down here, you see I have the super thanks. So if you want to help support the channel so I can do more videos more frequently, definitely consider doing that. And if you want a copy of the book, I have if you want to support the channel that way, I have the links in the description, as like you can see here. So one of the first things I want to talk about two things here about Republicans driving, just ramping up the crazy. This doesn't mean that I have any love for Democrats, as I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I am an anarchist, and I don't believe. I think it's immoral. It's unethical to force people to to give you money under whatever pretense that might be. So I'm still an anarchist because I oppose, and I do not agree with the concept of and the practice of having rulers. I agree with having rules, ethical rules, moral rules, but I don't agree with having governments. So the first thing I want to discuss here, and it was reported this week, there is a Republican from Alaska who wants to make mailing of abortion pills a federal crime, and not just abortion, so-called abortion pills, but birth control pills. Birth control pills. I mean, wow, this is insane. That is the stuff the Taliban you expect. You expect this kind of crap in the Middle East. You expect this kind of stuff from the Victorian era, where birth control, make it a crime, make it a felony to get birth control. This is just crazy. And the next one, it's this in Louisiana, Republican Representative McCormick has got the Abolition of Abortion in Louisiana Act of 2022. Wow. And I'll get into this in a few moments, but the idea that I am somehow pro-abortion because I'm discussing the craziness of these Republicans, these bureaucrats, these government, overlords, it just shows how little of the content that I do, even if it's only a 4-minute video, it just shows the disconnect that the loudest commenters have, that they're not even paying attention. To call me pro-abortion because I'm discussing the craziness is just, it's a non sequitur, guys. I mean, get a grip. But I'll discuss that in a few minutes. This is wildly crazy. It's 2022. They are saying that what's important here for the discussion is that they want to abolish it outright. No circumstances are justified. What I thought was very interesting was person includes a human being from the moment of fertilization, and also includes a body of persons, whether incorporated or not. Would anybody call twins, triplets, quads? Why is incorporated even in there when we're talking about human beings in utero? It doesn't make any sense to me. But this is a flat out ban, and there is a justification if it's done under threat of death that they have right here, threat of death. But this is a threat from an outside. What is so crazy about this, what makes this so nuts, is it includes all instances of abortion for any reason whatsoever. This isn't even, we don't even have to get into the argument about incest and rape. In a minor, let's say an 11-year-old child is brutally raped, and then she has to carry it. I know we've got these lunatic Republican types that say, well, a child being raped and carrying a child is a gift from God. That's some Taliban crap right there. I mean, my gosh, the craziness there. How any adult could actually think that a baby from a rape is God's will or a gift from God. Who's your God? Is it that the mythical Baal? Because if you look here, and this is an example I gave before, in a topic, this would include, all right, so what this abortion ban is doing is making it a murder charge to do an abortion. For any circumstances, the rape of a child doesn't matter. And even an ectopic pregnancy, it's going to be considered a felony, murder. And so here, an ectopic pregnancy, as I discussed in the last video, is not viable. There's no way for the child to survive. It can't. And there's a very good chance that the mother is going to die. So the mother is now faced with, if they're in Louisiana and they get their way, okay, the Louisiana Taliban, she has a choice that she has to make. She either tries to go to California, for example, to get an abortion. She does it illegally or she does it illegally in Louisiana and risks a felony murder charge, or she just allows the child to die and then subsequently kill her. This is just nuts. So every day it seems that especially the Republican types are just ramping up the crazy. So to completely ban abortions, to then call it murder when you have an ectopic pregnancy that can kill you, this is mind-blowingly stupid. So those are the two things I want to discuss there. But it seems, so to get back to my channel, the last video I did, this is the last video that I did. And I want to go through some of the comments here, because at no point in time did I ever mention what my position was on abortion. I've done that. I've done entire hours discussing what my personal position is on abortion. And I'm not going to discuss it here because it's completely irrelevant to these issues that I'm raising. So if anyone is interested and want, before you start attacking me, you're interested what my personal view is on abortion, go back into the archives on the No Stay Project. There's hundreds of shows, and there are several dozen that I did where I am talking about my personal view on abortion, as well as taking calls from people and having long, drawn-out ethical discussions about the abortion issue, which is not cut and dry. It is not a simple black and white issue. So keep that in mind when you start putting these rants, and leaving these comments. You don't know what my personal position is on abortion. You don't know if I'm pro or against. You don't know what the details of it are, and you don't know what the basis is, other than I will say I take it from a rational, secular, humanist ethics. That's my position on the abortion issue, and it's as far as I'm going to go, because I actually get a kick out of watching some of these stupid comments that are making assumptions that are not in the video. You say, if I'm putting out, how long is this video? It's 10 minutes long. You make a lot of it. So let's go through some of the comments here, because I do appreciate the comments and I like the engagement. If Roe v. Wade is vacated, don't expect all the activist judges to accept this. It's just the first shot in a nuclear war on life. It's not. Well, I think if in a sense, it's a nuclear war on life. If you're looking at women who have unviable pregnancies that can die if they don't get an abortion. An abortion is not limited to just, hey, I had unprotected sex and it's strictly for birth control. That's just a part of what abortion is. It's a very complicated issue. This is just spam. This possible decision does not ban or outlaw abortion. Even in Mississippi, where this case is from, gives 15 weeks. Women are not going to die. Yeah, because a lot of them are going for outright bans, like in Louisiana, an outright ban. So you are dead wrong on that. There are states that are going, like Texas too, that want an outright ban on that. They had the trigger law, like Arizona, like I mentioned, it's trigger law. Getting pregnant from having consensual recreational sex is not whoops. That's not even a part of the video. I don't know what the hell that has to do. Micah Fox Music says, we are out to lunch on these topics, Mark. Abortion is anti-human rights in most cases. Again, if you have an unviable pregnancy, if the baby dies at 20 weeks, you have to abort. If you have an ectopic pregnancy, you have to do an abortion or the mother will die. These are It's not anti-human rights in most cases. The anti-groomer Florida bill has nothing to do with "Don't Say Gay." That wasn't even, well. That's just not true. That, and it's backfired on them in a big way. It applies to yes, which is really stupid because it's not grooming. It's anti-grooming. The idea that that a teacher, gay, straight, male, female, whatever, talking about their partner or their wife, their husband, is not grooming. Talking about heterosexuality or talking about homosexuality is not grooming. Grooming is a specific thing where, well, let's say a good example would be what Elvis did with Priscilla, meeting her at 13 years of age. That is an example of grooming, not talking about heterosexuality or homosexuality. That's not grooming. This is awesome. Stop the murder of innocent children. Not a right, but a disgusting choice. Again, limiting it to just the topic of the video and what I'm talking about here, we're talking about unviable pregnancies. They're banning all of them. So they're banning unviable, where the mother's life is in danger. And it happens. You brought up Mississippi, places like Alabama, you have child rape, you still have child marriages, for heaven's sake. No, this is just no. It is a legal right for now, and it'll probably stay a legal right in places like California. So it is a legal right. And the non-aggression principle doesn't say that you can't take steps to protect your own life. So if you have an unviable fetus, especially a fetus that has died in you, you have every legal and moral right to protect your own life. So I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you there, Stars and Stripes.
Ooh, yeah. I'm going to have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Less baby killing is good. I agree. More personal responsibility is also good. Again, what do you do in a case of an ectopic pregnancy where the baby is going to die and it cannot be viable, or you have a circumstance where the baby is malformed and dies in utero, and you need an abortion to be able to get that out, so because the mother will die of sepsis. And women have and will continue to die when a fetus dies inside them and it doesn't eject. It doesn't. I forget what the medical phrase is. Guess we'll hear you defending Disney next. I think if you look at what DeSantis did, he violated their contract. So if you look at it strictly from a legal standpoint, the First Amendment doesn't allow the government to retaliate against you for your speech. And that's and DeSantis has come out and said they did this because of what Disney, the company, said. Republicans think that corporations are people. They believe Citizens United. They believe that corporations are people and have a right to free speech. So if corporations have First Amendment rights and they protect them, okay, I'm still an anarchist, just talking about this from a legal standpoint, okay. Then if Disney says something publicly and has public speech, to be penalized for that is wrong. It doesn't mean that I love Disney or support Disney, but in this case, if you look at the facts and you compare and you apply the law, they retaliated, and that violates the First Amendment. Abortion violates the non-aggression principle. Aggressing against an innocent human being is wrong. Again, look at the topic of what I was discussing in the video. All right, so we're going to go back here again in ectopic pregnancy, or an example when the fetus dies. That does not violate the non-aggression principle. Period. This, of course, is the left hand. I wonder what the right hand is doing now, Mark. Well, there's always going to be things that we're unaware of. I wasn't aware at the time that Ivanka Trump and her husband made hundreds of millions of dollars while working in the White House. So, yeah, things will come out. But this is something that's real. It's going to be affecting people. So you got people who are losing their minds because they have to wear a mask. Now you have a situation where you can have an ectopic pregnancy and have to and potentially die if you can't afford to go to California or Washington or New York and get an actual abortion, so the dead fetus doesn't kill you. I know you just, all right, so then the Zoo Brooks, I know you just made commentary here, but what are your thoughts on abortion? All I'm going to say, because I do, let's cull the herd here. I do get a kick out of people who leave these stupid comments and make assumptions instead of paying attention to what I'm actually saying. My rights on abortion is that I always look at life from a rational, secular, humanist ethic. I agree with the non-aggression principle. Oh, Mustafa. According to Mark, eating meat violates the non-aggression principle, but abortion does not violate it. One, I never equated eating meat with non-aggression principle. I don't think I did. I took an ethical stand on it, but I don't think I used the argument of the non-aggression principle. I certainly think it's wrong to use aggression against the innocent. So I don't remember, and I don't think I did. But here, this is where, and I've just explained it. If the fetus has died inside, or it's an ectopic pregnancy and cannot be viable and puts the mother's life in danger, then I don't believe that violates the non-aggression principle, because the mother's life is in danger. Okay, so it doesn't violate the non-aggression principle. Life is messy, to borrow a phrase from a friend of mine. And a lot of times it could be a real, honest to goodness, ethical dilemma. There is no win-win. There isn't a win-win. It doesn't necessarily mean you're violating the non-aggression principle. And if anyone out there thinks the non-aggression principle is always black and white, then you do not understand ethics. Professor of aviology, man, the old mark is truly down. Abafungul. What a stupid comment. Sorry, but I have to unsubscribe.
Well, bye.
You can tell by how many subs and how many views I get. I don't care if you want to unsub. So just do us a favor and unsub quietly. Blue Pill is agreed. It's like watching a car accident followed by a slow death. Okay. All right. P.S. I do love your videos. Hey, I appreciate that. Wow, you really have gone off the rails. I just don't understand why people say that. The only thing that I can make sense of when you say stupid things like this is you're not paying attention to the content. I'm totally consistent with my ethical principles here. I'm still an anarchist, so wow. Their attacks against the LGBT community, Lordy Mark, you can't even keep up with the right acronyms. Oh, well, that's just stupid. Commies are having a bad month. Obviously, we've got a Republican here who doesn't understand what communism is. You should try not putting videos out. Just stay quiet. Well, that you got. Now you have me there. I'm not going to argue with that, Caleb. Caleb Brooks is saying just stay quiet. Most of the time, I do stay quiet. I only post like once a week now. Please stop trying to defend people ending lives of unborn men and women before they can even fend for themselves.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Did ya even watch the video? Man, Caleb, I got to tell you, this is one of the dumbest comments because you're not paying attention. Ending the lives of unborn men and women. And I have specifically talked about two examples. Well, three, but mainly two. Non-viable ectopic pregnancies and when the fetus dies. Okay? So this comment that I should stop trying to defend, I don't know whose video you're watching, but it's not mine. You like to put the date stamp. You got a timestamp in there. If you think that I was defending killing unborn men and women before they can defend for themselves, put the comment, leave a comment and put the timestamp in. So I already know that you know how to do that. So include that. If you can find out and get back to me with how I can dislike your video more, that would be great. I wish that such a button actually did exist because I wish that existed for comments, because if I could dislike the comment more, I probably would, but I'm not going to. Is it possible to dislike this any more than I have? I feel for you. I really do. I do. I've seen things online where I wish that I could hate it more. Like I'm saying, like your comment. And only 348 views on a hot topic like abortion. Wow, he has really fallen. Still love you. Well, I love you too, Mike. I appreciate that. Not every video is going to take off. Again, it's a really, really difficult topic to talk about. Uh, my vegan videos didn't do well either, but I'm not doing it just. I'm not like some. I don't do videos just for the views. I'm not going to just say things like some so-called anarchists who are doing it purely for the money and the views. Obviously, I'm not doing it for the views, and I'm certainly not doing it for the money. So those are the comments on that last video. For those who did make a comment that I mentioned that was totally off point, wasn't regarding any of the content in the actual video, do like what I asked Cal to do. Just timestamp where in the video I made such an argument. I know that there's another so-called anarchist who loves every time you get him, every time you nail him on a bad argument. He's got a lot of them. He just starts screaming straw man. It's his entire shtick. Straw man. Yeah, you're not addressing my argument. Yeah, I did line by line, not straw man. So, but here, yeah, you haven't discussed, especially if you think that I'm 100% in favor of abortion. That's not my position. It's not in the video. So again, just date stamp it. But hey, thanks for watching and getting this far. If you did, if you want to help support the channel so I can do more videos more frequently, and I got a lot of videos in the queue as far as court and stuff like that, it just helps. The support does help to be able to put those videos out faster. And so if you like the content, you like the channel, just throw us a like, because I got that new button there. I would appreciate it. So again, thanks for watching, and you can also help support the channel with the links in the description.